Truck Talk Media.
C10 Talk, episode 277. The one, the only, the always entertaining Mr. Gas Monkey Garage himself, Richard Rawlings. Here we go. You've been able to make that transition when, I'll be honest with you, I don't know that I thought you could, and you did.
Well, thank you for that, backhanded compliment. But I got to tell you, I didn't know if I could either because it was scary. And then you added COVID on top of it, and nobody could do anything and everything else. So I was a little razzled there for a while, too.
Damn, son.
Hey, guys, let me tell you about LMC Truck. Keeping generations on the road. Think about that. It's pretty deep. So whether your truck was handed down or something you went out and bought, odds are you were handed a bunch of paperwork, maybe a folder. In that folder was probably the catalog. You know the one, the most up-to-date and detailed catalog available today. It's like an encyclopedia for our trucks. Their website is just as detailed and informative. lmctruck.com. lmctruck.com. So whether you're restoring old memories or creating new ones, LMC Truck is here to help. They're more than just a parts company. They truly understand the lifestyle and passion of owning a classic truck. So get out there and get to work on your truck and know that LMC is here to help. You can get online, lmctruck.com, and order your free catalog today. Keeping generations on the road. lmctruck.com.
Let me tell you what Melbourne Post is packing right here. I've got 411 posi track out back, 750 double pumper, Edelbrock intakes, scored over 30, 11-1 pop-up pistons, turbojet, 390 horsepower. We're talking some bucking muscle.
What does that do? Does that blow your mind? That just happened.
Welcome to C10 Talk, your C10 Truck podcast.
And now I have a chance to be the best, maybe the best in the world.
My old man is a television repairman. Got this ultimate set of tools. I can fix it.
I said I got 50 cents in that jukebox, and all I can hear is your mouth flapping. You hear that?
Here's your host, Ronnie Wedge.
Happy 2024. Starting it off with a bang. What's up, C10 Nation? That's right. We got old R-Square back behind the mic. Good to have Richard back. Always entertaining, always fun, and always good to catch up. So this is our 10-year cycle. Started this thing in 2014, so with it being 2024, we are in our 10th year. So it's pretty hard to believe that C10 Talk has been kicking ass and taking names and having a lot of fun interviewing a lot of really awesome people over the 10-year or the course of 9.5 years, kind of as we cycle through. But yeah, a lot of good times. So I just want to thank you guys so much for what's going to end up being our 10-year anniversary year. So pretty awesome. Some new things we got going on. So we've got a new title sponsor for 2024. LMC Truck. Stoked about that. They're going to jump on board for the 10-year here. So, of course, that's going to be a good thing. We've got Richard on, starting it off with a bang. And when Richard and the media team, they said, hey, let's get Richard on. They're going to do this giveaway. So they're going to give away their GMC skid mark that was at SEMA. And this thing is just, it's badass, right? I'm going to add at the end, so even though Richard and I will kind of take things out, I'm going to add the walk-around interview with Josh from SEMA. So you'll get that at the end. Josh and I completely walk around the truck, do some interviews. So just in case you missed it at SEMA or you didn't catch that episode, or, you know, there's been so much going on the last few months, you forgot about it. It was at SEMA. It was at the Get Down. It sounds like it's going to be at LST. Obviously, you can jump online as well. But another thing, I said, hey, hook up our audience. Like, these are C10 people. Hook them up. So they are going to hook you up. You can add C10 Talk 1000. C10 Talk 1000. I get 0 for this. 0. You get another 1,000 entries. C10 Talk 1,000 to get a free 1,000 entries in this giveaway. So it's easy. You listen to this pod. You remember that it's C10 Talk 1000. You go to gasmonkeygarage.com. And if you're interested in trying to win the truck, buying some stickers, buying a shirt, whatever you want to buy, when you do C10 Talk 1000, you're going to bump your odds. So it's pretty awesome because in interviewing Richard and talking to Richard, talking to their staff, it's like, hey, who better to win a C10, or in this case a GMC C15, is the C10 Nation, right? So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. 10 years for us. And why not take care of you guys for tuning in? C10 Talk 1000. I'm sure I'll post it somewhere. It'll help you. And again, I'm not compensated for this. This is just something me, Richard, and the staff said, hey, let's give these guys a little extra, and girls, a little bonus. Speaking of bonuses, I guess, how about Derek, Vice Grip Garage, taking it out in 2023? So that was last week, episode 276. If you haven't had a chance to jump back and check out Derek, Vice Grip Garage, do so, because he's very entertaining. I talked to somebody today who listens to C10 Talk, listened to the episode, but didn't watch or hasn't watched Vice Grip Garage. You're missing out. It's very entertaining. And jump over to 276 and you will hear how entertaining Derek is. And he's on like a 1 on a 10 during the interview. But when he's doing his show on YouTube, it's free, Vice Grip Garage. You'll find out right away how entertaining he is. He also has his TV show, Roadworthy Rescue, as well. But at least get your taste with Vice Grip Garage. It's a no-brainer. What else do I have for you guys? Okay, Reunion. So that's our show that we do here in Chandler, Arizona. That's in the parking garage, 5 stories. And this year, 600 trucks. We have about, probably right now, 80 left over. So that's going to go quick. We opened it on January 1st. We are obviously at 520. And we're going to be pretty close here, so I don't think it's going to take much longer. If you're thinking about coming to the 3rd annual reunion, grab your registration, reuniontruckshow.com, reuniontruckshow.com. That's March 23rd of 24. So we'll have a pre-party on the 22nd, downtown Chandler, and then the 23rd, we'll take over the parking garage, take over downtown area, have a rip and roaring, rad-ass, retro, vibing, loving time. And we'd love for you to come out. We got Slosh Tubbs is going to make the trip all the way from Arkansas. Going to bring tubs and speaker boxes and slosh buckets and everything else. I just talked to Fessler the other day. He's going to come set up. So we're pretty stoked. We're getting some vendors in. We're getting some people to come out and travel. My buddy Scott France is coming out from St. Louis. So stoked. 3rd annual reunion. And most important, make sure you got your costume. 80s, 90s, retro rad gear, ready to rock, ready to roll, because we do Best Dressed. We do a little giveaway for that or an award. So it's a great time, and it will not disappoint. If you register and you're coming from out of town, we do still have a few rooms left at the host hotel. Everything is within walking distance, literally walking distance from the hotel, where the show is, where the pre-party is, some of the different restaurants. You don't need a car. You just got to get to that base camp, and you'll be ready to go. So good times ahead, rad rides, retro vibes. Pod. I have got 3 of them locked and loaded for you guys already. So we're going to kick it off with Richard. And then I've got 3 more. So I've already got Oscar from Down Under. He's got a right-hand drive 74 K5 Blazer. You might follow him online. That's 74 K5 Blazer, Chief B for Chief Brody. I've got Jim Pickering. He's the author of 67 to 72 Build and Modify. We had Jim on a couple years back when he did 73 to 87 Build and Modify. So now he's got a new book out, 67 to 72 Build and Modify. We've got him locked and loaded. And then I've got Big Mike Brooks from Gasoline_Images. And Mike had a 1986 Chevy Shorty, black, red interior, took it to Columbus, Ohio, Good Guys in 2022. It got stolen. So not only did it get stolen, he couldn't find it. He didn't think he'd get it back. he got it back. He recently got it back, so we got him on. Great pod ahead. Again, we've got Richard starting it off with a bang. Then we've got Oscar, we've got Mike, and we've got Jim. A lot of good pod. I'll be just getting them out to you as soon as possible. We appreciate it. Starting 2024 off right. All right, guys? If you need something, let me know. Ronnie at Truck Talk Media. Ronnie at trucktalkmedia.com. Looking forward to this 10th year. Thanks again for supporting C10 Talk. Stoked to have LMC Truck on board as our title sponsor, our new title sponsor. And hopefully more of the same. Just kick-ass content coming your way. Enjoy Richard. And no matter what everybody thinks of him, every single time I've ever interacted, talked with, interviewed, he's always been stand-up. So I hope you might consider that, because he's always been pretty gracious with his time, and we do appreciate him taking the time to sit down and yap with us for an hour or so and bring you guys some content and possibly even a truck. Don't forget C10 Talk 1000, C10 Talk 1000. And again, at the end of this pod, I'll have Josh Paris on our walk around at SEMA of the truck. All right, guys, have a great week. Stay out of trouble. Do what you do. Be you. C10 Talk out. Late. All right. How about a little get you some of that? Mr. Richard Rawlings, R Squared, back behind the mic. We're stoked to have you. I think we're going to do a little catch up and then obviously talk about that amazing truck we got to lay our eyes on at SEMA. Unveiled at SEMA 2023. It was at the Get Down. If you guys have, I don't know where the hell you've been, but haven't seen the old skid mark GMG GMC, stunner. But as always, Mr. Richard Rawlings, Gas Monkey Fast and Loud himself. So thanks, Richard.
What's up, everybody? How's things in the truck world?
Oh my God. I don't even know how you keep up in just the everything world.
You know what? I get bored on the weekend. I kind of hate Saturdays and Sundays because there's nobody at work.
Yeah, well, I think you could keep us all busy. You guys just did a post today that your social media guys did, and it was cool because what you did is it was a post where, for the audience, we're Monday the 18th or something like that. This will probably drop at the new year, but I dig the post because you had 4 phases of C10s. You had the square body, which everybody knows, the green and white. You guys took that to SEMA. It got wrecked. It got bought. You had your Pikes Peak C10. Now you've got the GMG skid mark truck. And then there's another one in there that's the, I'm trying to think who you built it for, but it was on Fuelish. It was gray. It was a 68. Bottom line is you guys are killing it over there on what you guys do. And I think, did people think that Fast and Loud GMG, I guess it's just GMG because Fast and Loud is kind of obviously the TV part of it, but you've kept it just constantly going. You've kept it going, and I feel like that's been probably something that I will truly say maybe I underestimated you. Was that hard?
I tell you what's hard is listening to you ramble on before we open a beer.
Beer it up. Hey, what time is it over there? It's 2? Oh shit, it's a little early for beer for me.
It's also sort of the holidays, so we're gonna drink some beer while we do this. But a lot of people thought we had kind of dropped out of the game or disappeared because Fast and Loud wasn't playing new channels or new shows on the channel, and it's amazing what people will get on top of things and start talking about, and when they don't know a damn thing. And realistically, I took from 2019, late in the year when we got done with Fast and Loud, we were going to be done anyways. And COVID just happened to come along. So COVID really gave me an opportunity to finish getting away from the evil monster that is cable television and kind of reset ourselves and get started in this new era of social media. If you look back prior to that, we were never able to really do social media or put out videos. We could kind of interact, if it was like just typing or maybe put a picture. Because when I signed my deal with Disco, it was in all media and social media didn't exist. I mean, we're going back 2011. So when it came along, I wanted to get in there and get in the mix and be on YouTube and be on all these Facebooks and what have yous, and they said no. So we were never able to build that side of our business. So that was my main concern through the COVID years, was getting back on track, getting back to what we do, get rid of all the bad that had kind of come along towards the end of the disco era, and really come out strong. And that's what we used SEMA as an excuse to do this year. You know, we showed up with the GMC skid mark. We showed up with the electric Ferrari. You know, we had I wouldn't call it a build, but a bolt-on 4x4 thing over a T-Rex. And then we had something else. Oh, my 812 Superfast.
When you make that transition, you go from TV, I like how you're saying disco, to social media. You were ahead of the game. I mean, sitting on my couch in 2011, watching the first series, first episode, I guess, season of Fast and Loud. Now you've taken it to a whole nother level. How do you balance that, and how do you figure out on a daily basis, it isn't Saturday and Sunday, where to go and where you're going?
It's just so much better now. You know, you can tell if you watch the last couple of 3 years of Fast and Loud. I was tired. I was worn out. The man was pressing down on me. I got suits trying to tell me what to build. Meanwhile, they're sitting there in their suit and driving a Chevy Bolt or something, and they don't know nothing about cars. They just want to make television, and so there's a lot of pushback. And then at the same time, I was filming 3 other shows for Discovery and one for Disney Plus. So I was completely freaking worn out, and I took a little time to decompress. And there was a little bit of battles and some contracts and lawyers and agents and managers and all that shit. And I just literally wiped the board clean. I got rid of everything and everyone, and it just took a little bit of time. And then it was time to sit down and go, what do we want to do next? You know, and I was like, I still want to do cars. I still want to make cars and motorcycles. I want to be a part of it, but I want to do it our way. So now we've got our own production facility in-house. We make and do everything, whether I'm traveling and out in the barns or the garages buying, or if we're here building. And it's just so much less pressure, man. You know, that's why I can drink beer at 2 p.m.
Hell yeah. I mean, and really, when you think about it, a lot of guys are living vicariously through you, in the sense that I'm not saying they're not happy with what they're doing, but you're doing the dream, right? You get to build cars, you get to drink beer, you get to be around the community. And I think at the end of the day, you still make it look fun. So it's awesome that you're still having fun.
I think that community is the big thing that we lost. You know, you see a lot of trolls online, and I'm not really worried about them, but you see a lot of people out in the field when we're out in the shows and all that. Oh, that guy's an asshole or whatever. And that kind of comes with a little bit of celebrity and a little bit of fame, you know, whatever you want to call it. I worked my ass off for 10 years. We made almost 400 episodes of television and turned out 150 plus complete custom built cars from Gas Monkey Garage in those 10 years. And that's more than it's more than any shop I know of. But you know, I'm proud of my guys. I'm proud of the team. And really what we want to do is be a part of that community again. You know, getting to go to SEMA, even though I broke my leg, and getting to go out to some of these shows. And we've got a whole bunch of them that we're going to make for 2024. I'm just really excited about getting back out there and seeing everybody, because, you know, the way that I was having to work made Gas Monkey and myself kind of not feel like we were in the beginning. You know, I was just too busy, too fast, got to go. And I want to slow it down a little bit.
Well, and really, right, isn't that kind of like, I feel like we've read this book before, and you, instead of continuing to be under the thumb, under the man, you said, all right, I want to go back to how it was. I had so much fun at the beginning when I could do what I could do, and you were able to do that. So I'm sure that wasn't an easy decision. Maybe those guys at Disco made it easier for you, but having fun, living your life the way you want to live it is that also is something that I hope everybody out there in the automotive world is listening to, because at the end of the day, building rad shit with your boys, having a good time in the shop, whether you're drinking a garage beer or whatever it is, that really is kind of what it's all about.
It is. I mean, I love these guys like my family. We had some turnover because it's like a marriage, you know, when it's finally over, everybody just wants to go their own way. And I'm proud of all of the guys and gals that came through here over the years. A lot of them have gone on to start their own businesses, and they're very proud of their achievements. They're raising their kids, they're buying homes, you know, they're achieving their level and their goals and success. So I love nothing more than every day when I come in here to go to work, I know that I got to dance like a monkey so these guys can wrench like monkeys, and everybody can make some money and take care of their homes and their families and, do whatever they're into. One guy, Josh, came in here the other day all happy because he just bought a tractor to play with on his land. And I'm like, well, to each their own.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, I love that you said that. And I don't want to get too deep on stuff. I mean, you probably just your whole, I guess the last 10 years, but I've truly honestly said that is, okay, so without Aaron, there has to be a Richard. Without Josh, there has to be a guy dancing like a monkey. And if you go on TV, and for the audience, call me anywhere, anytime, and let's have this debate, is if you don't have a guy that doing the back of the scene, the promotion, the marketing, the dancing like a monkey, then there's all kinds of guys that are wrenching, and it takes, like you said, like a marriage. And I think it's actually really respectable. And people say, oh, Richard this, Richard that. But at the end of the day, it's like, dude, I'm a businessman. And if I can get it and dance like a monkey, and I can get a promotional here and there, and Josh can go buy a tractor, to each his own, then I'm doing what I need to be doing for my guys. And I really commend that you realize that, because at the end of the day, it's a struggle where people just think like, oh, every single guy. It's like, no, it takes a certain person to be out there flashing it, dancing like a monkey.
It really does. I mean, me and Aaron were together for almost every day for 15 years, because we started this back in 2003. And so when the split happened, it wasn't like I hate you and you hate me and we're going to, it was just like, we both kind of breathed a sigh of relief. And it's like, see you when I see you. If he came in right now, we'd be drinking a cold beer together. And I feel that I'd be the same welcome at his place up in Colorado. So everybody makes a big deal out of the split. And I'm like, man, God dang, if you try doing anything for 15 years every single day. I mean,
yeah.
It's
and the proof there is Tom. I love how I just saw Tom come back. And I mean, I think of, sitting on the couch again with my son and Tom and all the guys in the first series, really, I guess, first year. It's just so funny, that first shot before you guys moved to the next shop, and he's sitting there. He's a little bit bigger than he used to be. He's got holes in his shirt. And the comments, I don't know if you even have time to read the comments, but they are freaking hilarious. Just like, we need Tom back. Tom's hilarious. And obviously you've kept a relationship with these guys because they're coming back.
Well, Tom came in for this interview we're called Where Are They Now? And I would love to have Tom here. I just have to find like a hole to put him in, and then you'd have to figure out how to control him, because he's all over the place, but he is absolutely hilarious. And he's kind of a little bit of a book of knowledge if you can get it out of him. And, to this day, the way that he played Sheriff Buford T. Justice was... The only one that did it better was Jackie Gleason himself.
Yeah, for sure. That was a fun run. Now, weren't they, if I remember right, there was a whole group of the Misfits, and he was in the Misfits as well?
Yeah, I started that show up when I got Tom and Jordan left, and I grabbed them, and I got a couple other guys, and we put them in my old shop. And we thought that we'd make another show of them having their place and trying to make a go of it. And we ended up making about 65 or 70 episodes of that show. And it was a lot of fun to be involved with. And with that group, the insanity was absolutely 100% natural. I mean, the stupidity of things that happened on there was, you didn't have to make it up. There's probably enough laying on the cutting room floor to make a whole nother set of episodes.
How do you spitball when you come up with all this stuff? So when you look back and now everything that you have coming, getting ready for 2024, how do you decide what's going to stick, what's not going to stick?
It's probably my biggest battles that I have at Discovery is going with my gut. And so I just roll with the gut. And that's what I really like about Gas Monkeys. We get to build anything we want. We're not stuck in any certain genre, so I thought that people might have wanted to see an electric Ferrari. It went over real well. I mean, it's getting a ton of coverage. The GMC was more of a labor of love, that we really wanted to show something and show it out right with our foyer, if you will, back into the limelight and getting back into the community and things like that. I wanted to go, here we are, and kind of kick the doors in. But I just shoot from the gut every time.
So when you think about what's coming up, you got the Ferrari, you had just a tremendous SEMA. I think the skid mark truck, I feel like it was definitely one of the most publicized trucks that I saw at SEMA. You guys have to be happy with that. I think the Ferrari got a little bit of highs and lows. The one thing that I heard that was funny was, how can you be Gas Monkey Garage and have an electric car? And to me, that's completely and totally Richard Rawlings. That's just like, yeah, fuck you. I can do it. Doesn't mean I'm going to always do it, but I can do it.
Yeah, you didn't see those kind of comments when Roadster Shop did it with the Ford truck, the year before or whenever it was. So it was more of, oh, you got to be, at the end of the day, I don't care. If it's got a motor, we're going to wrench on it. And if that wrench happens to be your computer laptop or your little phone here, who cares? We're going to make it faster. We're going to do crazy stuff with it. And, I don't think that we're going to get rid of our fire breathing carbureted motors anytime soon. There's just a lot of BS going around, and it was fun to do. And the car's freaking fast. I mean, like it or not, we built a better, lower, leaner, meaner, faster Ferrari Testarossa than almost has ever existed.
What's the plans with that car?
It's getting some final tunes from Legacy EV, and then it's coming back here. And there were some low marks on it. We kind of failed on the interior because we were up against it. We were putting the interior in at 12 o'clock at night when we had to leave for SEMA. And what we had was what we had, and everybody was tired. And then the lighting in the front, down bottom, I didn't quite like. The rest of the car is exactly what I had in my mind. So we'll fix a couple of those things, and then who knows? I'm going to drive it for a little while and have a little bit of fun.
One thing I didn't see so far with the skid mark trucks that is kind of your signature is just mean ass burnouts. Have you done one, and did I miss it, or is that something you're going to do? Or, hey, this truck's so fucking nice, I don't want to do it.
Well, you want to know the truth? I haven't driven the truck yet myself. The guys were working on it all the way up till time to leave, and then they took it out, and then I broke my leg at Scottsdale right before Vegas, and I've been healing from that. So they went on to Dino's and got back, and I actually haven't driven it yet myself. It's because that's the way it worked out.
Yeah, well, I hope we have something to look for there, because that truck is, let's talk about the truck. It turned out killer. Obviously, we did talk to Josh at SEMA, a little bit of Desert Fox, a little bit of skid mark, your sauces. It all came together. When you think about the platform and how you started, the original truck was just a bucket of bolts. If I remember right, it was a step side GMC. You guys did an amazing job. You got with AMD. Why a C10, or in this case, why a C1500? What were you thinking?
Well, I bought the truck about 6 months earlier, and we were sitting around. Do we want to go to SEMA? Do we not? 4 months before SEMA, we didn't even plan to go. And I was going to skip it this year. And then as talks get going on and you're having a cold beer in the afternoon, people start, dreaming about what we're going to do. And I told the guys, I said, if you can do it, and you can do it the right way, I want it laid out on 24s. I don't want to cut the floor up. I want it to be on its own pinch welds. And I just kind of told them what I kind of thought in my mind that was so much of a challenge that they'd be like, oh, we can't get it done in time. And they were like, let's do it. So, I'm not going to turn down that enthusiasm. So I said, all right, you make it, you don't. I said, but we're going to have these videos out, and everybody's going to be expected to see it. And they put on a show. These guys, we built that truck in about 35 days flat. And that's from when you saw it as a bucket of bolts with a step side on it. And that's all the way up. And a lot of new stuff. The L8T motor was new for us. The LME intake and everything, and then making everything else work the way that it needed to. Everybody knows you don't just bolt this stuff together and it magically works. There's always a freaking problem. And then the making of the billet grill was something that I added in there. That's solid pieces of billet like this big, so just a lot of people pulled together, a lot of people that were involved with the truck and our sponsors. We could name them all, but it'd take too long. But between AMD and Scott Dickies and TCI and Titans and CNC, and the list goes on, Curry, Willwood, JTX. Everybody was just on board to make sure that it happened. And then I gave them the color scheme. They did not like it.
Classic Performance Products, CPP back. Joe, let's talk X10 spindles. Go.
One of our most popular parts through the years has been our 2.5-inch drop modular spindles. Late model Corvette, Silverado, Chevy technology into our new X10 drop spindles. They use a steel hub, sealed bearing hub, really strong piece. It's oversized bearings. Definitely great for a guy using big brakes, big wheels, which I'm sure all your guys are.
You need a new spindle anyways. You're going to lower your truck. You're running a bigger wheel, a bigger brake. CPP's got it for you with their new X10 spindle. Joe, as always, thank you. CPP, classicperform.com. It's classicperform.com.
Sniper 2. Are you ready to switch out that old carb for a modern EFI system? Well, Holley has a solution for you. The all-new Sniper 2. This new system was redesigned from the ground up. Available in tumbled polished or black powder coat, and there's 3 available tuning interfaces. A classic 3.5 handheld, a 5-inch mountable, which includes a GPS speedo or a Bluetooth module so you can use your smartphone. Another big bonus is the Sniper 2 has a built-in transmission control module. So if you're looking to upgrade to a 4-speed overdrive, 4L60, 4L80, you now can with ease. Holley.com to get started today, Holley.com. Hey guys, let's face it, your truck suspension is old, and your ride can be so much better. Discover QA1 and their full range of truck, suspension components, drop kits, and coilover conversion systems. QA1.net. That's QA1.net. Marquet has been in business for over 40 years. Marquet has grown to be one of the country's premier truck parts manufacturers. They have made their original parts from the original trucks. All parts are manufactured in-house in Oklahoma City, USA. They offer quality parts built by Americans for old American-made trucks. So when you're looking for body moldings, bed strips, bed wood, and so much more, think Marquet. That's mar-k.com.
You know, between AMD and Scotty Dickies and TCI and Titans and CNC and you know, the list goes on, Curry, Willwood, JTX. Everybody was just on board to make sure that it happened. And then I gave them the color scheme. They did not like it.
They were like, what? What are we going to do here? And I think the response has been classic. You can say whatever you want to say about it, but it's when I first saw it, I'm like, it's the funk, you know, it's all about that funk and those stripes and the way you guys and kudos, you brought Mike back. Mike laid it down. I don't know if it's been Josh or GMG IG, but somebody's posted a couple shots. It's that, you know, you get that champagne, you get that look, and it hits just right. So they did a great job.
They really did, because I gave them the colors and kind of told them what I was thinking. And it was Mike's idea to go across the entire hood, much bigger than the Desert Fox style did. And what have you, green is kind of our color. And then when we went with the green for the inside, you know, I was pushing for all green. They wanted to put maybe some gold or tans in there. And I said, no, green, you know, and what have you. So I can honestly say that that's in my top 3 builds here at Gas Monkey Garage, and I am most proud of this team for throwing it together. And we had a lot of guys that helped in the evenings and came in, you know, that just wanted to be a part of it. It was a tough build for 35 days.
It's funny when you think about sitting there having a beer, you bring the guys in, maybe Mike's sitting in there and you're just shooting the shit. Then Josh comes in, you know, more guys come in, and then you come up with this plan. Have you had plans where you're like, why did we decide to do this versus, and maybe this truck skid marks was one of those versus saying, oh my God, I'm so glad we did do this. I mean, because you get yourself into these situations where you're up against the wall. Obviously we all thrive on that. But halfway through it, when you're pulling 16-hour days, you got to be like, maybe this wasn't the smartest decision.
Oh, the guys went through a lot of that, because on this one in particular, different than when we had TV, I let these guys pick their poison. I kind of told them that I wanted to do some things that hadn't really been done. And then I said, if y'all want to do it, you can, but you don't have to. And I think they had a lot of that Why did we do this? I mean, we brought a camper up here. They were literally taking turns sleeping for 3 or 4 hours at a time and what have you, because it was crunch time towards the end. And I said, guys, I said, you can give in anytime you want to. And they're like, there's no way, we're going.
Yeah, and good for them and good for you. And then really back to back having SEMA, then you guys, I don't know if Georgia was involved with it, but she was hanging out with Josh the whole weekend out here at the Get Down. And she makes every truck look better than it probably even is. So yeah, the social media on it, all the different things that you guys had going on, and a labor of love for those guys. And I hope that they get a little Christmas break because they deserve it when they did everything that they did. I know talking to Josh is probably a little bit more that needs to happen, some shakedown. I think the gear selector, there was a cover there that they're going to work on, but that's to be expected, especially on a truck that's being built in 35 days.
Yeah, we've got a sensor out in the transmission, which is probably why we haven't seen too many burnouts. I think that's being fixed as we speak. And yeah, that shifter box was not what we wanted, but it was what we had to work with really fast. That'll be all cleaned up and sexy. And then I think out at Dino's, they drugged the back bumper and bent it all up and scratched the paint. And we haven't decided if we're going to leave that or not, because I like a truck that, can show some wear and tear. And we're going to get out and show it around and have some fun, have it at some shows. It's going to be at the Daryl Starbird show in February.
Okay.
And then I think that's the first show, and then we'll go to LST again and things like that.
All right, so you've got a busy 2024 planned. Before we get into some of the different plans that you have with the truck, you've got a few different things going. Tell us about the sauces itself that obviously you came up with the different design for the truck.
Well, I've always been into food and stuff, hence the bar and grill. We closed that during COVID, during what I called the mass exodus, shut everything down, regroup, rebuild. And so I wanted to do sauces for a long time, and I developed these along with a partner out in Knoxville, Tennessee. And we don't bill it as healthy, but they are. There's like 5 ingredients on the label, and you have all of those ingredients probably in your house. There's no weird chemicals or any of that kind of stuff. And they're not pasteurized. These are fresh. These are good. And when I was going through the storyboards and picking my lettering and the style and the coloring of what I wanted the labels to be and what I wanted the story to be, was the same time we were kind of going through if we were going to build this Texas skid mark, and it wasn't even called that yet. So I just looked at the truck and I looked at everything and I was like, I think these colors work. They kind of were the same. And so it kind of represents the Texas skid mark, which is the hottest of the 3 sauces. We've got the Texas green light and the Texas burnout and the Texas skid mark. And we launched those around the same time we pulled the truck out. And they're doing real well. I mean, they are phenomenally good. And the skid mark is definitely hot. It'll get your attention. And, I'm just I'm happy to finally be in the world of food. Guy Ferrari is a good friend of mine. And I hate to say this, but the food shows have gotten a little boring, and it wouldn't hurt my feelings to break into food a little bit and shake it up kind of, circa 2012 when we started Fast and Loud.
Yeah, I think I followed your personal page as well, and you do some food on there every now and then, and it looks like you know what you're doing.
Sometimes. But we're building a big commercial test kitchen here in one of the buildings here at Gas Monkey, and we're going to start doing some more things. The idea is to travel like we do. No matter where you go in the world, and especially in the United States, there's different kinds of food that are celebrated in that city or that state. And even in the same state, like the difference between Dallas and Houston, they think they have the best barbecue, and it's a little bit different than Dallas's barbecue. And same with Tex-Mex. We're 2 different cities, and we're only 3 hours away, yet we throw rocks at each other over our food in the same categories. So if I'm out there picking cars or digging through barns or motorcycles or whatever, I want to sample the local flavor and then come back here and kind of test out trying to reimagine that or remake it the same if it was unbelievable, or mix it with a little Texas flair. And then maybe on the ones that do well, serve those at the restaurants, as the monthly special or whatever, the Kansas City burrito or whatever. We're still just kind of fleshing that out.
When you go to, let's say, like the Kansas City burrito, how do you bring that home and not put the RR flair on it? Because I feel like, or do you take a Kansas City burrito and say, man, I love this, but if I could just do this, and then do you do that to it and do you change it up, or do you say, hey, I'm going to try to recreate it? Because I feel like in life, you're always going to take a little bit of you and put it into whatever you're doing.
I think you're right on point there. It's going to be, all right, I got it, but how about this? And I think it'll always kind of be like that. It'll be, what can we do to make it a little bit gas monkey, a little bit R.
I like doing that at work. So with the firehouse, we got 10 guys, and sometimes I cook something and they love it. And sometimes I'm like, hey, you guys are going to be the test dummy today, because I want to do this, but it might not work. And, they'll let me know. And the good thing about the fire guys is feed them hungry, feed them late, and they're going to love it. So sometimes that actually can backfire on me, because I might be like, well, maybe it really wasn't as good as I thought because the guys were just starving, versus, maybe that's what you need to do for the guys at Gas Monkey is, hey, I'm going to cook something. I got this Kansas City burrito, but I'm going to put a little burnout sauce on it, or do my thing and try it out on the crew.
Exactly. I mean, and not a lot of people know this, but that's kind of where I got my food cooking. I was cooking at home as a kid, and especially when I was a teenager, just out of necessity, because my stepmother couldn't boil water. But I really started cooking when I got on the fire department at age 19. So I was mostly at Coppell Fire Department for about 7 years, and I did all the cooking on my shifts.
Yeah. And, for the audience, I assume you might listen to Richard's previous episodes and know this, but you were also shot, I believe, not shot at, actually shot.
Yeah, I took a bullet in 92 through my shoulder, and my arm was on the steering wheel. It was a carjacking, so it went down my arm. But I was off duty at the time, because I was a police officer, firefighter, and EMT before I was old enough to drink. So I had a license to carry my gun and everything, but I just carried my badges when I went out, chasing chicks, as a kid. And I had gone out to a bar and decided I was hungry and went to the hamburger joint, and a couple of guys came up from behind and stuck a gun out, and I took off and they started firing. So had I had my gun on me, I bet you I wouldn't be talking to you right now, because I think it would have been about that much split second too long, because they already had the draw on me and they were coming up from behind. So there you go. It's those guys' faults. I'm sitting here, man. Those guys did all y'all wrong.
Blame those guys. Now, whatever happened to those guys? Did they get caught? Did they get busted? We don't know. You were happy to not be dead.
Never caught them. Looked for them for a long time, and I didn't have jurisdiction in the city that I lived in, so it just kind of went away. And that's the way it was.
Yeah.
Wrong place, wrong time. 2:30 in the at night by yourself, getting a hamburger on the wrong side of town.
Yeah, isn't that crazy to think, hey, if I had my gun, I thought that I could have pulled it. And now you knew you didn't have it, so you just got the hell out of there.
No, I went right for where I usually keep it, right between the seat and the console right there, and I didn't have it, and I just went straight for the shifter, and so I was just gone.
Nice.
Out of there.
You were gone in 60 seconds for sure. Hey, so when we think about the burnout, the green light, and the skid mark, different flavors, I know you said skid mark's hotter than hell. What's something that you're loving to put your sauce on? Are you putting it on burgers? You putting it on fries? Give us a little R squared recommendations.
Oh, realistically, I'm still playing with it. Like I did a brisket over the weekend and coated it in the skid mark about 4 or 5 times while I was smoking, and it was pretty daggum hot. I might back off a little bit to burnout next time, but anywhere you'd put a table sauce, anywhere you'd want to throw in some Tabasco or something like that, it's going to work out well for you, as long as you pick the heat you like. The green light's real good with eggs and breakfast.
Ooh, perfect. Yeah. Like a green sauce, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I love that on some eggs. Now what about beer? You went from sauce to beer. We've known you forever as the Miller Lite guy, the light guy. I was reminding Richard, I was out there, I think in, I don't even know, 14, 15. And I grabbed a light out of the cooler and he came swooping by and he took it right out of my hands. And it was kind of funny. So we know you as the light guy forever. Now you've got is it your beer? Is it a partnership, or how's that work?
It's a company out of Ohio called Garage Beer. And everybody's always asked, why don't you do a beer? Why don't you do beer? And to me, Gas Monkey Garage beer seemed too kind of hokey and what have you. And when Garage Beer came along last year, they've been in business, I think, going on 3 years. But I went ahead and took an equity position in the company, and I sit on the board. And the beer is just great. What I like about it is it's no agenda. We're competing with the big guys, Coors Light, Miller Lite, you name it. We're competing with those guys and gals, and we're just light beer for guys who like beer. There's no agenda, not who you're going to vote for or whatever. And it's just garage beer. I mean, the name says it all. It's we're always open, throw down, have some fun. And that's my commercial. So how you got to set that to music or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we need to put that in, and maybe you be on the marketing team as well. What when you think about garage beer, I think sometimes like certain beers taste like other beers. Can you put that taste in our mouth? What kind of beer does it taste like? Obviously, you said Miller Lite, Coors Light. It's a light beer.
It's just light beer. Our slogan is actually beer flavored beer. I mean, everybody. I go to restaurants all over the world when I'm traveling. And especially here in the U.S., and you walk in and they're like, hey, you got a Miller Lite or a Bud Light or whatever, and Coors Light. I guess you can't say, I don't know what you say about Bud Light now, just scratch all that. But they're like, no, we only have craft beers, and I'm like, craft is craft. I mean, come on, I just want a freaking beer. It doesn't need to be flavored with juniper berries and raspberry fruits. I just want beer.
Yeah. Yeah. Beer that tastes like beer. I did see Peyton Manning. They got Peyton Manning back once. Bud Light, they had to go back to the old guns, and they got Peyton back, and they got some of the old school. They're trying to get the manly men back after Kid Rock shot up their beer.
Well, because of the shitty way that the world is right now, I have to abstain from comments, but trust me, I have a lot of them, but it's just politics. I stay the hell out of, man. I don't really care.
Well, one of the things you learn at the firehouse for sure is you don't want to talk politics and religion. Just leave it at home. So, because it'll just, nobody's going to win. That's for sure. Where do we get garage beer? Where do we get the hot sauces? Where is that a Texas thing? Obviously you said it's Ohio. Is it something we can get it all over the world?
We're still in the works of getting into Texas. We're launching in January out in Nashville and all of Tennessee. And then up in Ohio and Michigan and those 7 or 8 states right around there, we're already on the shelves at your Costco's and all your convenience stores and things like that. We were just named the second fastest growing light beer in the nation. So I'm pretty stoked about it. We got a lime flavored one that's pretty good. And it's just more of a summer, same beer with a little squirt of lime in it.
Nice. And then skid marks, we can get those. Are those a national brand too yet, or is that something local right now?
That is on the website only.
Okay.
And I don't know if I'll ever go into the stores and stuff like that. I mean, once you go into stores, you get so saturated with something that's small of an item, and it can take away a lot of the profit and the ability to really control your product. So I think for right now, we're just going to stay on the old website, and we got something coming up for that though. Should we lower the boom on them now, or?
Yeah, drop it like it's hotter than a skid mark on some eggs.
It is hotter than a skid mark. So a lot of people were asking us about skid mark SEMA and what we're going to do with it, what's the plans, and of course it's coming up in a bunch of magazines, and I'm really proud of my guys, and I wanted to do something that was really cool for the community and everything. So we've been reaching out, and there's a lot of people that kind of already know, but in broad, we're going to give it away. That's our next giveaway vehicle. We've been doing this sweepstakes thing, and I know some people poo-poo on it like, oh my God, why don't you just sell some t-shirts and give away, $200,000 cars and $100,000 in cash and change somebody's life. That just sounds shitty to me. I hate those kind of people. I mean, we really are getting to have some fun. Do not make any mistake. I'm a for-profit guy. I'm selling shirts and hats and stickers and decals to help offset the cost to be able to give away cool shit. I mean, we've given away, I don't know, about $3 million worth of cars and cash so far. And I just think it's really cool to give someone in the C10, C15 community a chance to have something, like that from any builder. I think is just absolutely amazing. I want to see somebody win it and doing burnouts and having some fun with it. So I think starting on December 26th, you'll be able to go to gasmonkeygarage.com and get in on the action. You know, the last guy that won the TRX, he bought a T-shirt, you know, and that's it. And he drove away with a TRX and $100,000.
Yeah, I saw you hand him the wad of cash. You know what I mean? It's just like, holy shit, to think that I mean, that's kind of life changing. Buy a T-shirt and get the money, and then get a car, get a truck. It's amazing.
I know there's a lot of not so savory characters out there doing it, and maybe there's some people that aren't, you know, going through with it, but you know, ours is legal beagle, buttoned up, and everybody are getting these cars and trucks. And I would love nothing better to be able to give away even more or whatever. There's plans possibly in 24 to give away Richard's shop. In other words, you know, a lot of people and a lot of guys out there that are scrapping away and working out of their toolboxes on a dirt floor or whatever, just like me and Aaron used to do in the early days. And, you know, it'd be real cool somehow to give away, you know, a whole shop full of all these tools and all this equipment, all this everything to somebody that, you know, could use it and could make a business out of it and have some fun and do what they love to do. So, you know, giving away Richard's shop is definitely something else that I have on my mind for 2024.
I think the key is for the audience, like gambling, don't put your whole life savings into trying to win the truck. Okay. Buy a shirt, buy some stickers, buy a hat, have a good time. If you win, you're like, holy shit, I just won. And again, it could be life-changing whether or not you win the truck and what you decide to do it. I mean, seeing the truck at SEMA, seeing the truck at the Get Down, you know, everything that I've seen so far, it is, I got to think it's about a $200,000 truck. I mean, when you look at the motor, the paint, the labor, the TCI chassis, obviously they're one-off JTX wheels, 24s, the grill alone, I think Josh said would cost, if they were to buy it retail, $30K. Yeah, you're looking at $200K all day long.
Yeah, it's a nice truck and it's over the top. And I want somebody to win it and just boil it, take it everywhere, road trip it to every show. You name it. I think that would be just the coolest thing in the world for it.
How long does that go? So on December 26th, right after Christmas, how long are you going to run that for?
We're going to overlap it with the brand new Mustang that we're giving away, the Dark Horse, until around January 2nd. And then it'll go to March 1st. And we'll give it away. You know, somebody will know that they own that truck before spring break.
So you bought a C10 and it either had AC at one time or it wasn't even an option. Well, Vintage Air has the solution for you. Their SureFit kits are designed to place the evaporator and hoses behind the dash for a factory clean look. The Vintage Air SureFit kits are the best value and the most completely engineered air conditioning system you can install in your C10. Damn, son, the choice is obvious. VintageAir.com.
Need C10 parts? Well, here at Pro, we actually have trucks. We build them, we drive them, and we deal with them every day. It's just part of who we are. We carry the best products for your truck project from the major name brands such as QA1, React, Painless, Dakota, Beltec, Borgeson, Bear, and even more. Give us a call or check us out on the web.
You've heard me talk about my gauges. Dakota Digital. I love them. Dakota Digital has the best gauges for our trucks. These kits are complete with sensors for any engine. They look just like the stock clusters, but have all the technology you'd expect from Dakota Digital. You can change the lighting colors, customize the reading in the message centers, and do it all from the mobile app. That's right, the HDX and RTX series have Bluetooth technology. It's like a modern truck, but even better in a classic. Dakota Digital is absolutely the best in aftermarket gauges, so check them out at dakotadigital.com. dakotadigital.com.
And then it'll go to March 1st, and we'll give it away. You know, somebody will know that they own that truck before spring break.
So you've got about 3 months, give or take, I guess, a couple months to where you can get in line there. Obviously, C10 Talk, we're here. We're going to help promote it. We're going to push it. We hope somebody out there in C10ville wins a truck. A lot of really cool things going on. One thing that's interesting that you talked to a little bit prior is where are they now? Not only cast, but vehicles. Is that something we're going to see more of in 24?
Yeah, we've got a really couple of 3 good plans for 24 for our channel. We've been having some great success with people seeing some of the people that came through the shop over the years and having those interviews. Where are they now? What's going on in their lives and things like that. And I want to do kind of the same thing possibly with some of our builds. I mean, 150 plus builds over the course of 10 years. Those cars are still out there, and we'll take the good with the bad. We were learning when we first started. Not every car that turned out of here was, oh my God, believable like the skid mark. But we turned out a lot of full built cars, and we'd love to have a little bit about where are they at? Who's driving them? What are they up to? How many owners have they had? Are they wrecked? Are they in the, all kinds of different stuff like that, I think would be pretty interesting. Because, like you said earlier with you and your son, and even guys that are more my age, that, if I would have started watching the show when it came on, I would have probably had a child, and then they would be having a child by now and still watching and learning. So we've got 2.5 generations out there that can either remember it or want to kind of see it in a different light. And I'm pretty excited about that. And then we've got another series that is going to start in January. I'm going to take $1 million cash, and I'm going to try to double it. And one of the things that was kind of interesting, and I thought that people kind of liked with Fast and Loud, is at the end, we'd recap. Richard bought this for $10,000 and spent $3,000 and sold it for this, or whatever. So we're going to take $1 million whole cold hard cash, and you're going to be able to see it on your screen and where we're at and what we've bought and what we've sold. And my goal is to try to double it while letting the audience in on every single piece of it. This is what I bought it for. This is how much it cost me to get it trailered here. This is what I had to do to it, et cetera and so forth. But also finder's fees and cool stuff along those lines where I want the audience also to be involved. Like if you know where something kick-ass is, or if you want to sell something, or if you want to buy something that I just bought, I really want to make it a crowdsourced kind of fun of, where's the tail of the tape this week? What's going on? And did he lose or did he win? Because I'm going to lose. Friday, I lost $18,000 on a 560 SL Mercedes, but it's been sitting here for a year and it hadn't sold. So I told the guy, I said, you can have it. So I sold it to him for $10,000. I had 28,000 in it.
Yeah, well, not to bring up losing, but there was a truck right there that I sold Richard, and it just didn't go the way at Barrett. It was to recap it, the batteries were dead. They went to start it at the last second, and it was a shit show. They called me, I jumped in, and I've never I didn't really get over it just because I was so pissed because I wanted to see what it would do. Richard's friend and now my friend Sean out of Minnesota bought it for a really good deal. And that was not something, he stole it. And that's something where Richard probably had already been through therapy and thought about that. But I think you've got the right personality for it. We also, I think this, but sometimes we like it when you go to auction and we get to see you nervous, and we would watch that and we would feel it. And then we'd be like, oh shit, he just lost $20,000, and, I would say the audience, myself included, is always like, well, he lost 20 grand, but he's getting paid by the network. So there's money there. But at the end of the day, you're still losing money that you thought you were going to make money on.
Well, yeah. And now we don't have a network. We got Gas Monkey, and, you can't look at it that way. I mean, our core business, is buying and selling and building and selling and all that kind of stuff. So the first time I lost on Fast and Loud, they told me we had to reshoot it. And I said, what do you mean? And they were like, you can't lose. What are we going to do with that? And I said, you're going to show it. And they were like, no way. We're not doing it. We're going to reshoot it. It'll just be fake. And I said, I'm not doing it. And I just walked away. Because you don't win on every single deal. The tail of the tape is when you file your taxes for that year, and, so you just hope that you average out and come up with enough to pay the middle.
Well, and that goes back to people driving Chevy Volts that don't know, because the audience, your key audience, and some of that audience might not have been a car lover, a car fanatic. And you and the Fast and Loud, growing up Fast and Loud, made them a car fanatic, or made them know that something was worth something, because there's a lot of lay person. I don't mean it disrespectful. Obviously, my community knows Chevy C10s and they know other different trucks, but there'd be somebody like, hey, I didn't know this car was worth this, or this car was worth this. I watched what, and maybe Richard didn't know either. He thought it was worth more and it was worth less, or he bought these 3 cars, or he bought all these Copo Camaros or whatever it might've been at the time. And you're like, dude, this is good for TV. This isn't just good for us.
We really did. I mean, and a lot of it was learning on the go. I mean, I'd like to say I was pretty good at what we were doing and doing okay. But, you know, when the show started, it was chaos and you had to make a quick decision because it had to be done. And we're doing the same thing now. We're just doing it on our own terms and our own rules.
You've got your book. How's that doing?
Oh, dude, I wrote that like 10 years ago now.
Yeah, I know, but you still got it. Does it still crank?
Yeah, it still sells a few, mostly online and what have you. I was supposed to get some type of, back end from Discovery, but I've never received a check.
Yeah, I think when you were on last time, you had I don't even know if it was out yet, but yeah, you've never received any money on that?
I've received the part of monies that I was supposed to have, but the part of monies that me and Disco were supposed to have I've never seen a check on. It's I'll just tell everybody out there that thinks they want to get in on television and everything. My number is easy to find. Call me anytime and I will try to point you in the right direction because it is an ass whipping and I stepped on a lot of landmines without knowing it.
Yeah, I remember you saying that last time too, that, hey, you could almost teach classes on this stuff because a lot of people driving fancy cars are making decisions and you guys are still, and people might have thought, oh, Richard, Aaron, whoever, Casey, they're the big superstars. But at the end of the day, there's a reason why, people aren't doing it anymore. And you guys obviously learned not only about cars and turning and burning, but obviously about the things that go on behind behind the lens.
I think that Gas Monkey, especially in automotive motorcycle lifestyles, probably the last of the Mohicans as far as cable and regular television. I'm ready to see what's next on social and streaming and all that kind of stuff. There's room for a whole lot of Richards and Gas Monkeys out there. So freaking get after it.
Well, at one point, Discovery, I got to think this, but at one point, Discovery had like 3 shows that they were living off of. And if Fast and Loud and or Gas Monkey was its own show that you could subscribe to through streaming, you guys would have killed it because at one point you were the number 1 show. I got to think. I mean, it was like Deadliest Catch was a big one. Fast and Loud was a big one. And I got to think that you people would have just been tuning into that.
They still are. The stats show that Fast and Loud is still the number 1 automotive motorcycle lifestyle show on cable, period, worldwide.
Do you get kickback from that, or is that something that's not part of your deal?
Never got anything from that. A lot of people think that Richie got rich being on television, but Richie got famous. I don't know about the rich part. Yeah. I'm still working on that.
Yeah, I think probably, you could obviously do a business pod. We did see that. You guys had that run for a while where you guys would go in and clean up people's shops. But like you said, it's like, hey, Richie didn't get rich from TV. I got famous, so people knew who I was, but there's still money to be made out there. And now you've been able to make that transition when I'll be honest with you, I don't know that I thought you could, and you did.
Well, thank you for that. Backhanded compliment. But
the truth motivates people every day.
I got to tell you, I didn't know if I could either because it was scary, and then you added COVID on top of it, and nobody could do anything and everything else. So I was a little razzled there for a while too. But I'm proud of the team that we've assembled here, and the partners and everybody that we have really come around now that COVID's over, and we got some really, really cool stuff planned for 24. And if I can go out on a limb, I think what we do in the next 5 years is going to be more than we've done in the last 15. Cool. I mean, I really do.
Well, I kind of feel like when I look back and you guys did that weekend OBS build, obviously for the truck community, that's something in the OBS pod. We tune in for that kind of stuff. I know Josh Freeman was part of that. He's a big C10 guy. He's a buddy of ours. And I feel like that was kind of like, I feel like that was just the pivoting point for when you guys really made that transition, where it's like, okay, disco's over here, fast and loud, and we're going to make a transition to making, go for you in the words of Richard, the socials, and we're going to roll this thing out. We're going to do YouTube. We're going to build a freaking truck in a weekend, and we're going to kick ass, and we're going to do it. And God, that might even have been 3 years ago, 2 years ago, but you guys really did it. 4 years ago, you've hit it hard, and you're continuing to grind, and it's been it's fun. It's fun to see, and it's just fun to see you win. It really is what it is.
Well, I got to tell you, Josh is a good friend still. He's just got his shop up the street. He's next on the Where Are They Now, actually. I'm hoping to film that this week, but he's a great guy and talented guy. So
you're going to do more of that. You will have more Where Are They Now?
Yeah, for sure. Who knows? I don't want to break the internet right now, but maybe Aaron will come on. I'll leave that one up to him.
Yeah, Aaron, and obviously, I mean, Christy's never been hard to look at, so I'll throw that out there.
Yeah, Christy. I used to see Christy all the time, and now we just kind of run in different circles. She's doing her thing, and then Gas Monkey's doing our thing, but she's blessed, and I think she just had a little baby granddaughter, and what have you. So pretty cool. It's really fun to watch the success of the people that came through here. And I want nothing more but for everybody that comes through here to learn just enough to go kick ass and do it themselves and what have you. Because the business part, like we said in the earlier part of the show, you got to have that. You can have that fabricator, that builder, that master mechanic, that whatever, but you got to have the business side. And that's what makes it really great. The yin and yang of me and Aaron were so perfect, because I couldn't go back there and do what he does. And he ain't coming up here and balancing a checkbook. So we had it made, and that's kind of the relationship I try to keep with all of my guys and gals that come through here.
Yeah, would be cool, and not that you're ever going to listen to a firefighter out in Arizona, but if you went to them, whether they knew it or not, so you show up to Colorado, you show up to Casey's, I think they'd shit their pants, and they could never close the door on you. So it might be kind of good, and we'd love to see it.
Man, I don't know. Casey lives out the country. I might get shot, and Aaron, hell,
you've already been shot. You lived. It's no problem.
Nobody even knows where Aaron lives. He's in Colorado somewhere.
I can get it for you if you really want it. I think I might have the address, but yeah, that'd be kind of fun to find to see. But all right, I think it's pretty cool that we're going to see some more Where Are They Now, or some throwbacks. I think what you did with Tom was absolutely was perfect. You've got the hot sauces, you got the beer, and obviously the biggest thing is going to be the giveaway. The giveaways aren't going to stop. It seems to be working for you. You got big plans for 5 years. Some of the questions that are just, are specific is that I love asking you, because I love to see the inside of the brain, way deep inside there, is you've had the opportunity to build just about everything. I mean, when you think 20 years ago, if you were going to have a restaurant, a hot sauce, you had, what was the tequila, the van, you had the van, the tequila, the monster truck. I've been at the restaurant. You've had amazing different things that some have worked, some haven't. What car would you build first and foremost? The one car I said, Richard, you get to build car or truck. You get to build one more thing and you're done. What are you going to build, and why?
That's a hard one, because right now my brain's really into the younger crowd and what they're doing with what I call the rubber bumper cars, which is everything that was 80s and 90s, IROCs and what have you, because they were just such pieces of shit and didn't have any power. If I could build one last car, I don't know, man. Probably, I don't know. I can't answer it. I have no ability to even tell you. I know what kind of car I'd love to own.
Let's do that. What would you?
I'd love to own a '69 Lamborghini Miura P400. Okay. That's kind of the car that I always hope is in my garage one day. As far as the last build, to tell you the truth, I'd probably crowdsource it and let everybody kind of decide.
Yeah.
And say, what, this is Gas Monkey's last build. What do you want to see?
Well, don't you think it's cool that I love that you're thinking about like those old 80s and 90s cars, because we're not that different in age. And when I look back at like a Chevy Citation, a Chevette, some of those Nissans, those Toyotas that were around back in the parking lot in high school, they're all gutless, right? And we know like the K cars are all pieces of shit, and all the cars that we saw in the Dukes of Hazzard and the different cars that were wrecked. But there are cars that are still out there that now the kids, like, again, I have a 21-year-old and it's hilarious the shit he sends me, because it's like, dude, there were a million of those running around back in the day. You know, a 240.
You say that about the trucks, man. You are going to say that about the trucks. What are you talking about? I bought one of those for $200.
Yeah. So it's cool to think that you're in that mindset to where it's like, how can we take something that has become so vintage and cool and make it bigger, badder? And, you know, that is kind of the GMG way. When you think about what you've been able, I mean, you guys put an EcoBoost. I mean, it's hilarious to think that. And I think that was, you know, well, you guys were one of the first to do that, you know.
We put that in a Pantera.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you think about putting an EcoBoost in a Pantera, I mean, Panteras have always been kind of cool versus, you know, something that maybe, but again, I'm trying to think, what was your first car? Because it wasn't that cool. And you guys, you know, recreated it. Was it a Maverick?
That was a 74 Mercury Comet.
Oh, a Mercury Comet. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
6-cylinder, 256 cylinder, not even the 300 and what have you. But one thing that's really triggering my trigger right now that we're going to build about mid-year is I've got probably the best 1973 280C Mercedes Coupe. I mean, untouched, all original. It could probably win a preservation award at Pebble. It is just really perfect. And then I've got the same thing, but 2005 AMG SL65. So twin turbo V12. And I'm going to stick all the modern stuff into the old coupe and have some fun with it, because that kind of look is really garnering a lot of attention right now. A lot of tuner stuff and mixed up stuff, you know, and putting some new technology into the old. We all in our world call it LS swapping, but they're doing it, you know, with everything from the 240Zs you're talking about, the 80s and 90s stuff that, you know, came out. And that's what's cool about these rubber bumper cars that I call them is you can LS swap just about anything, right?
Yeah. I mean, think about like even the M3s, the Celicas, the Supras, all those cars, everybody wants them. Everybody, I mean, it's the Acuras, they're all out there, and they're bringing big money if they're in decent shape. So what do you think about how about when you take a car like that and you say, hey, it could win a restoration? Do you get to where you have a trouble cutting anything up? Do you ever have nightmares, or are you like, nah, I don't care?
It's not that I don't care. It's that, you know, it's what I think is cool and it's what I want to do. I'm not going to butcher the car. I'm not going to ruin the car. I'm going to make it better. I'm going to make it drivable. And, you know, who doesn't want a V12 twin turbo 1973 coupe? You know, let's go. So I'm pretty stoked on it. We've got both cars here. We're doing some measuring and getting ready to start cutting.
What do you think about, you've had an amazing partnership with Dodge. Dodge has always been able to push the envelope. And I think they did an amazing job of kind of making a modern muscle car era out of those cars and what they've done. And that's going to discontinue. Ford's doing everything that they can with their Raptor line. GM's going, I guess, pretty much all electric's been pretty crazy. What do you think the future is going to be in cars?
You know, my guess is that they're going to run down both sides of the line for a while. I don't think that the gasoline or diesel cars are going anywhere anytime soon. I think that there was a lot of government money to be had and a lot of subsidies to be taken advantage of. So all the big three have made those adjustments, gotten what they needed, and they're just kind of gonna walk both sides of the line for a while. You know, everybody already knows that the new Challenger platform is set up for a V8, you know, and not all electric. So it should be pretty cool. I think we're going to see some amazing stuff from all of them. General Motors is probably the one that I'm worried if they're going to snap back as well as the other two.
If I said you get unlimited money right now, I mean, within reason, right? You got 250,000, go buy any car. It's got to be brand new. It's got to have less than 20 miles on it. So you can't go buy something classic. What dealership are you going to and why? And what are you thinking about buying?
I'm probably going to the Porsche dealership and, buying something really, really tricked out. Maybe go to they actually have a department called the Special Wishes where you get to kind of spec what you want. But it's only because I'm a for-profit guy. So those are the cars they're going to appreciate the most. And so that's probably where I'd head. If it was something just for me, I'm going to the Porsche.
I don't follow it not long enough that I can't say every move you've made, but I don't recall seeing like an old 71-2 Porsche. Have you had anything along that lines in your collection?
Not many. I've had a couple float, maybe 3 or 4 float through here in the last few years because they just, they're making so much money and they're going up so fast. But, you look at the 2024 Porsche Dakars that are bringing, 150 over sticker and Turbo S's that are bringing 150 over sticker, or even I just watched one someone bring a trailer either this morning or yesterday that was a 2019 Porsche Weissach package, 2019 GT3 RS, all decked out, and it went for like $75,000 over sticker. This is a 5-year-old car almost.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. They make, like you said, for profit. The timelessness of a Porsche and the success of that company, and they tend to really continue to scale up versus scaling down.
Yeah, and they're doing it the right way because they do let normal people in. Ferrari and Lamborghini and what have you, they try to act like they're all special and everything else. And take it from a guy who most recently has torn apart a 2019 812 Superfast. And you look at the Ferrari F40 we built, and we've got a couple of 308s. And then, of course, I have 5 Testarossas here, including the one we just made electric. Not a big fan. Those cars are not built that well, and they're not worth the money. You go look at the craftsmanship and the tailoring and the attention to detail on a Porsche compared to a Ferrari, and you'd never own a Ferrari. If it was free, you wouldn't take it.
You guys did a great job looking back when you think about the Smokey and the Bandit. Just throwing it out there, maybe a little Miami Vice, maybe you get behind the camera, you and Josh, get Mike out there. You guys could have some fun with that thing. You guys did a great job before. I mean, if I think back of all the different skits you guys have done, it might be time, a little Miami Vice.
We have definitely 100 have it storyboarded in the other room. We were thinking about making a music video full length with the Testa, with the white car with no top. And if you saw my high school graduation picture, and maybe before you air this, I'll try to get you a copy of it. I am in the pastel colored muscle shirt with the pastel different colored, khakis and the light blue blazer and the Zodiacs. And I mean, that's when I graduated high school. So that was that. And I thought it'd be really fun to maybe make a video out of that and go act like we're busting some drug dealers down in Miami.
Yeah, first of all, I'm surprised you graduated. Congratulations on that. And then Crockett and Tubbs, I could see it in the future with that Testarossa. Obviously, you've got the Crockett down. You still got the do, some glasses, a little white coat, and you just got to find the right Tubbs, and you guys will have a good time. Hey, I know you got a lot going on, Richard. We're going to help push and promote this. Somebody's going to win this truck. I truly do mean this. Have fun doing what you're doing. I'm glad you're having more fun and not feeling the pressure. And ultimately, for my audience, no matter what you think, Richard has always been stand up with us. He's been on C10 before. He's been on OBS. He's never turned down a phone call. And I do appreciate it. When we look back and we think whether or not we're better or worse for having Richard in our truck car community and what you've been able to do, love him, like him, hate him. You've been a great guy and have been a great guy for us.
Well, thank you very much. And you guys have always been good to us and Gas Monkey. And, if somebody's on the hate him trail, if you come through Dallas, stop by, have a cold beer with us, see what it's all about.
Yeah, you might change your mind.
Yeah, I promise you will.
Well, and the funny thing about that is we do need a little bit more of that, because it's hard to hate somebody when you're drinking a beer with them. I do love it. It's like, you want to come by the shop, you want to talk cars, and you still hate me after that, then we might have a problem. But I'm not going to lose a lot of sleep over it, because I don't have time to lose sleep over whether or not somebody hates me. Come by, have a beer, buy a T-shirt. Hell, maybe you might win a truck, you might win something, and you might not just hate me quite as much.
Right on.
Yeah. As always, thank you, Richard. I'm gonna hit up your staff. I want this picture. I want this graduation picture again. And I think we'll get some hot sauce, take it over to the firehouse, and we'll be good to go.
Hell yeah, we will. So thank you for everything.
All right. Thanks, Richard.
All right.
You know that's right. A little R squared kicking it off with the Bang 2024. Thanks for tuning in. Always entertaining, always fun to catch up with Richard. Don't forget about the C10 Talk 1000 if you're thinking about it. You get a little bonus there. Why not? Hey, doesn't cost you anything. No brainer. Obviously, they're trying to get you to go put in for the truck, but what do you got to lose? I mean, buy a sticker, buy a shirt, buy a hat, buy something. Maybe you'll win. Some of these guys that have won a lot of money and a car, and they list it. They're like, hey, dude bought 2 shirts, and next thing you know, he's got a wad of cash and a brand new car. So you could win this truck. Pretty bitchin' if you ask me. All right, that's it. Don't forget about the reunion. We've got about 80 passes left. Stoked on our new title sponsor. And then again, I'm going to add that Josh Paris episode or walk around right behind this. I think it's about 10 or 11 minutes. SEMA 2023. Josh and I completely do a walk around of the truck, and you can hear it. All right, guys. Have a great week. Late. Gas Monkey Garage, GMG. We're here. We're in the Scoggin Dickey Parts Center booth at SEMA. I've got Josh Paris. You are the lead build on this for Gas Monkey now. You've got a few different rigs here. We love the skid mark truck. We're going to have to get into why you call it skid marks, but let's start from right out of the gate, dude. Thanks for taking time, getting over here so we could do this. This truck is stunning. I love the stripes. I love the retro vibe. It's got that funk. So first, thanks for taking time. Thanks for being on C10 Talk.
No, absolutely, dude. Thank you for taking your time to come and talk to us about the truck. We want to get it out there. We want everybody to see that we are doing good, real builds. We want everybody to come and touch it. Be here. You can pick this thing apart. It's all there. It's a beautiful build. We're really excited.
Since the 1960s, US Mags has held the title for the longest-running custom wheel tradition. Experience the wheels that made history and set the trends for American truck culture for decades to come. From cast wheels to full custom 1- and 2-piece forged wheels, US Mags keeps you and your truck in mind with every new design and model. Our cast wheel series are designed specifically for Chevy trucks and are stocked and ready to ship, giving you the wheels you need when you need them with perfect fitment. Set your ride apart with our custom forged wheels, available in just about any finish and fitment desired. US Mags are guaranteed to distinguish your style and attitude from the rest.
Hey guys, I've got Andrew from Painless Wiring on. Andrew, what's the latest?
Just working on producing these GM truck harnesses. They're our best moving vehicle specific, and we're just, super excited to be able to service such a great community of truck guys.
Made in the USA. You guys are probably cranking them out nonstop. A ton of our audience is out there buying these trucks, building these trucks, and they know, hey, Painless Performance has got me taken care of.
Factory options, aftermarket stuff. If you have any questions, call our tech guys. They'll walk you through anything you need to know, and we'll make sure your truck gets wired up right the first time.
If you want to clean up your underdash, you want to clean up your chassis, it's that easy. Painlessperformance.com, painlessperformance.com. Thanks, Andrew.
You can pick this thing apart. It's all there. It's a beautiful build. We're really excited.
Well, it's cool too, right? We grew up with watching Gas Monkey. There's still a shop. There's still guys building stuff there. You're there. You're having a good time. And like you said, hey, right now we are having a blast at the shop building rad stuff, and that's what it's all about. So let's start right out of the front. The thing that grabs you, you guys decided to put this huge billet front grille on here. It's a stunner.
It's really wild. We sat down and was talking about the front end grill, and the guys at Titans had hit us up about the grill, and we just kind of went over there, drew some stuff out, and it was like, let's just make the whole thing. Like, let's test how good these guys are. And I mean, obviously we found out how good they are. Barry has 60 hours of machining in this grill, and I can tell you that he told us that if we had to put a price tag on this grill, it would be around $30,000. So I mean, it's really wild, but it definitely ties the whole front end together. It's what draws everybody's attention. So we're really excited about working with them.
Yeah, it's cool. It's definitely something you don't see all that much, where you see a full billet GMC, or in this case, a GMG grill. And all right, so working our way back, you guys have this massive motor. What can you tell me about the intake, the motor, the headers? I mean, it's sitting here just like a piece of jewelry in a jewelry box.
Yeah. So it is a Chevrolet Performance L8T with their cam. and we did the ultimate headers on there. They really like hooked us up and worked with us to make our steering shaft one solid steering shaft, so we didn't have to do Heims and stuff like that. LME hooked us up with the crazy billet intake that's on there. Dual throttle bodies off the top of it. I mean, it gives it that really retro vibe. It's wicked looking under the hood of this thing, and we're really happy with the power. It has a really, really great sound. It's super choppy but like aggressive, and then we're already we're around 600 horsepower. I mean, that's everybody's like, oh, it's not 1,000, dude. 600 horsepower in a short bed truck is a lot. It really is. So it's a really fun truck to drive around still.
Well, and they did a great job, right? So not only does it look great, obviously you've got your quasi valve covers, they're spec'd out, you've got the Gas Monkey inlay in the intake, so they did a really good job for you guys.
Oh, 100% took care of us. Yeah, it gives it that extra bling too. It can't just be a bunch of parts on there. It's got to look good too. Yep, we love it.
And speaking of bling, these wheels.
Oh yeah, no, you can't miss the wheels on this truck. These are JTX forged first, the C10 style. They're known for their big trucks. They're by 14s, 24 by 14 big wheels. And we hit up Chris and was like, hey, you want to work with us on this? We're bringing out this truck and everything. And he was like, actually, I want to dip into that market, so let's see what we can do. And man, here they are. I called him the other day and I was like, hey, what's the name of these wheels, Chris? And he was like, I don't know, GMG Custom. And I was like, okay, we'll run with it, So 24 by 10 in the front, 24 by 12 in the rear. They tuck all the way. This truck does lay frame. So they're pretty rad looking tucked up under there, man. They knocked it out of the park.
Are you guys going to do an inner fender here, or is that something that right now for the show you wanted to leave open?
No. The actual design of it was to leave it open. We was going to do tubs in there, with Mike and slosh tubs, but they don't clear the hood with the 24s. He hasn't figured that out yet in this truck. So that's why if you look on the inside of the fender wells, they are like finished out and rounded with it laid out. We wanted to just leave it open and show all the work and keep it simple. The goal with the engine bay, obviously we're here at Scoggin Dickey's place, was to take the attention away from everything in the engine bay except the engine. So we just wanted it all smoothed out.
Okay, chassis-wise, you're sitting on the TCI, so it's ready to run, ready to rumble?
Oh, yeah. So this is the TCI grounded chassis, and they actually worked with us because they had never laid out on 24s before, and we called them. We're like, hey, we want to work with you, but we want 24s. These guys totally redesigned their chassis and had a new one to us in 2 weeks, bro. Like, they dropped everything and made it happen for us, and I can tell you right now, if we threw coilovers on this truck, we could go race it. That is a fully built race chassis underneath there that also lays the 24s out.
Yeah, it's. I was checking it out earlier. You got big brakes on there. You got the TCI. This thing does look like it. You got some more billet here. Are you working with the same company on that?
No. Okay. So the Titans was only on the grille, the tailgate letters, and the hood lettering. The rest of the billet around the truck is a mix between Holley and Locar. We've both partnered with them also. So just whatever we picked that looked a little bit better from each guys. Sorry guys, but we did pick and choose through your stuff. But I mean, yeah, where there's billets scattered all around it, but it's we kept the brush theme. The only thing that's polished on here is the the JTX wheels. So we just wanted that brush, kind of that retro vibe with the colors.
Well, and for the audience, the wheels, these Gas Monkey Customs, they do have kind of a Bonneville salt flat with the right kind of that deeper brown that you guys inlaid there. It is really classy. One of the big things is hood hinges. A lot of guys with the C10 world, they're laid out. What hood hinges did you go with, and are you happy with them?
Yeah, absolutely. These are the Porterbuilt hood hinges. I think everybody in the C10 world knows Porterbuilt, and yeah, they're great. I mean, they've done their research. Everything's wonderful. They kept our engine bay clean once again. We didn't want anything in there. So those are, they're tucked up in the cowl. They're up there. They're real sleek. They're real sexy, and they're actually really sturdy too. They have freaking 2 shocks on each hinge, so they really have a great product. We love them.
One thing, if we work our way to the cab, that really stands out is it looks like you've got a slosh tub buddy bucket.
We do. We have the Slosh Tubs Buddy Bucket, and we also have his new sub box that goes behind the seats too, with the door that opens up. We want to take, and we didn't have quite time enough to do it. We want to put one of Richard's new hot sauces in there in some foam, and inlay it and sled the seat forward. But yeah, these are the Buddy Buckets, and they're covered by Texas seat. It really ties the interior off. The Spark steering wheel tied in with his is really like set off for everybody. Everybody kind of walks over, and that's what they do. That's the first thing to do is lean down in here, look in the interior, because it is that crazy color green too. It's wild.
One thing I noticed the other day when I was looking in that I really like, I'm assuming it's Restomod, but you've got for the audience, your normal AC vent where you think about where that is positioned. You've got 3 kind of ball valves there. They match your dash defrost. And then in the normal C10 67 to 72, you've got your ball valve on the right and left side as well. So I bet there's going to be a lot of coverage, and it looks really classy.
Absolutely, yeah. So, we wanted to do our defrost vents with the Restomod air vents. They have like a really sunk in one. So when you're looking at the truck from the front, it's got a lot of depth in it. And then on the sides, instead of having the big plastic that hangs out, we actually sunk them into the curvature of the truck. So if you look in there, they're actually pocketed in there instead of bulged out. So yeah, Restomod air vents, dude, all the way through the truck, really tied the dash off. It's great.
What's something on this truck that just kind of kicked your ass?
Oh, man. Timeline, deadline, no sleep. Man, being honest with you, so these wheels are so new that we were working with Chris over at JTX, and we didn't have the wheels until 2 days before we left. So designing the end fenders to have the right radius and making sure that the back spacing and everything was right in the rear tubs and getting them clearanced out and everything was a headache. It wasn't that it was just real difficult. It was just a lot of time sitting down, freaking drawing out on paper and pulling measurements and making templates and trying to just design the whole rear end and the front end around the wheels that we didn't have yet. They are that fresh on the market.
Mike's back. Mike laid down this paint.
Mike did lay down some paint, man. I got to give it to him. He's back, and we sat down in the office with Richard, and we were going over paint schemes for this truck. We knew it was going to be big, and we're trying to just throw different designs, the normal 68 designs. Your head just gets stuck in there, and Richard's like, well, why don't we do like the Desert Fox look? And we're like, Richard, that's an 80s, that's a square body. And he's like, we can pull it off. He was like, I want to do that. Flip-flop some stripes on the hood here and there. He calls it the Baconator stack because they flip-flop through each other. I was like, all right, we're not going to call them that. But and then the colors of them, everybody's asking about the colors are very interesting. Well, believe it or not, it's not that interesting. It's Richard's new hot sauce colors. So we just went off of them. He has 3 new hot sauces out, and we just try to get as close as we could to the color of the hot sauce bottles.
And is that why it's called Skid Marks?
It is. Texas Skid Mark is the hottest of his hot sauce, and that's why we did name it Texas Skid Mark. We went from that and Tandango. We were bouncing back and forth and ended up on Texas Skid Mark.
So the 3 layers are each 3 different sauces?
Correct, yeah. So we got the Texas Green Light, we have Texas Skid Mark, and we have Burnout. And that's the 3 colors. Yeah, the tan and the gold was just some accents. But, yeah, the 3 main colors on the stripes is the hot sauce colors.
So I have a Desert Fox laid out sticker that I do, and somebody came up to me, and they said, do you have a sticker of that truck that's over there? And I said, I don't have a sticker of that truck, but I do have a sticker of the Desert Fox, and I think this must be what you're thinking of. And sure enough, that's what I pulled it out of my backpack, and she's like, that's it. Okay, well, back to the truck. One-piece window. Who did you use?
One Piece Products.
Okay.
Yeah. Everybody knows if you've done them, it's a lot of time-consuming way to get them in there and make sure you clearance everything out. And honestly, this is probably the easiest kit we've used so far for the One Piece. And if you notice at the front of them, it doesn't have that little black plastic that everybody has.
First thing I noticed.
Yeah, so we actually have a full one-piece glass in this truck, and I think everybody who walks by has been noticing it. That was actually a battle in the shop. I'm very, I don't know. I like the classic look. I like the wing window, and I got outvoted in the shop. Everybody wanted the one piece, man. And honestly, now seeing it here and having them all in, I'm liking the one piece way better. It's super clean on this thing.
Well, it looks good without that little piece, the gap piece that you have to put because the window, it's too big, right?
Correct.
So that's more of your brother's kit, and there is a lot more success from what I know that from the install of that. Whereas this, unfortunately, they do not have a good reputation. So I'm glad to hear that you were able to put them in and that they went in good because I'm going to go on record and say you might be the second person I've ever heard that wouldn't say they would never do them again.
I'm not saying that we do them again. Like I said, there was a lot of work in it, but now that it is there, we do love it. But yes, there was a lot of fabrication inside of the doors.
Well, and they look so cool. So it does look really classy. Again, on the door handles, not sure. Just could either be low-car or Holley.
I believe it's low-car. I believe these are low-car billet door handles. Once again, brushed. We just try to keep that theme rolling through.
Sparks Industry steering wheel. What column?
That is an I Did It column.
Okay.
Yeah,
I Did It column.
We did that with the universal ball that goes through the firewall, and we had to have the Spark Industry steering wheel. I mean, we seen them at C10s in the park, and we're like, hey, what do we got to do to have that wheel in our truck? And we ended up working it out, and there it is. Covered it in the same green as the interior, which that's one thing on this truck that's controversial so far is the green. No, some people like it, some people don't, but I love it. I think
it gives it that vibe. I think I posted it yesterday, and I just put that funk because it is funky and it's cool. You went with like a 72 door, inner door on a 68. You like the shelf, you like the bigger doors?
Yes.
Inserts for the audience?
Correct. Yeah, I just enjoy that door more. It's more functional. Like, you have the armrest, everything. I like the look of it. That's all it was basically for us. We had both sitting there. AMD brought us all the sheet metal and also brought in like new door panels and stuff for us. And we had them both sitting there and we were looking, and I was like, you know what, let's go with this. We all agreed. There's a lot on this truck, believe it or not, that's all over the place. The cab is actually a 71. We did the 68 front end because we wanted the slant nose, so this thing is just a smorgasbord of parts all over the place.
So one way you could tell, well, I don't know if it's a 71 because it doesn't have the bump out up there. Oh, yeah, I'll show you later. Okay, so work our way back. You got the big tubs. Obviously, you got the TCI showcased. You got the Boyd tank. What'd you guys work here on your rear door, your lift door? It looks great.
What do you mean? Oh, just doing it? So what we did, honestly, me and Mike just sat down and started cutting. We pulled some measurements. We didn't want to do the full-length door like we've seen a lot of. We didn't want to do the half door. We kind of wanted it just up off the end and not have the back cap split. So we pulled it up. We used Smoky Road Rod Shop hinges up here. They push out as they go up. And that allowed us to make this thick deck lid, that actually looks like a full piece, It's a 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch square tubing frame that we skin the backside of just to give it that good look right there.
Probably one of the best ones I've seen with the Smoky Mountain Rod Shop. The way that it comes out, I met those guys before, and then they were at the Tennessee Triple Crown, and I like the way that you formulated it because it gives it a lot of it makes it look girthy, right? Yes. Your piece doesn't look flimsy because of the way you guys did it. You did some high machine screws. Everything flows. I love the color of the chassis. You went with that light tan. Yep. I don't want to clean it, but it looks really good.
Yeah, that was one thing that we went back and forth on too, was do we do it in like a matte or do we do it gloss? And we all decided, you know what, this truck is actually a usable truck. Like, we kept the bed floor in it, we kept the bolts, we kept the truck feel. So we wanted to do the gloss because we are going to drive this thing. We are going to use it. If you use a matte frame, it looks wicked. But first time anything gets dirty, you're screwed, So we kept the gloss going.
Well, we worked our way from the front all the way to the back, and they have a huge GMG billet, just like a GMC tailgate, but of course it says GMG, and then you really, really tuck this rear bumper. It looks fantastic.
We tried to get it as close as we could on the rear. We got it tucked up in there with clearance, in case something happens. Actually, when we brought it in, our driver came in and he dropped it on the tail, and luckily when it went down, it shoved the bumper up a little bit and didn't hit the paint, thank God. So, yeah, we try to just keep it clean, but we wanted bumpers on the truck, just like drip rails. We didn't delete anything. No door handles, everything. Everything's still functional about this truck.
Yeah, it's killer. How has the reception been for the week?
Amazing. That's the biggest word that I could say for this. Is just amazing. We were waiting for our unveiling 11 a.m. on Tuesday, and man, when we walked up, the amount of people here, the crowd waiting was almost gave us goosebumps because we didn't know what it was going to be like. You get so much hate, you get so much love being who we are, honestly, being Gas Monkey, you never know. So the amount of love for this truck has been just really, really awesome, man. It's all been positive. Every post we've seen is positive. So it's really cool to see everybody enjoying the build that we really enjoyed doing too.
Well, we're glad that you guys decided to pick a 68. We're glad that Richard is marketing his hot sauce with a cool C10 with a truck like this. And one thing about hate, people don't like to do hate anymore to your face. They just want to talk shit online. So it's way different. You're here. You finished it. You made it. And there's a whole thing called the Man in the Arena, and you're in the arena right now. You're doing it. You're living it. People could be in the grandstands. They could keyboard warrior all they want. They're not at SEMA. You're here with a Desert Fox throwback 68. and it's a ripping rad time. I can't wait to see Richard do a burnout in it, and you guys have fun with it. And what's next? Where are you guys taking it next?
So after this, we're going to go to, I think there's the Dixon party. We're going to have it at the Dixon party this middle of this week. And then we're going to Dino's. We're going to take it and travel with it a little bit. We're going to go show it off. You know, we really enjoyed this. We put a lot of hours into it. And before we left, Richard was like, go have fun with this truck. He was like, y'all deserve it. You put in time. So it was really cool to let him, for him to let us do that. So we're going to go enjoy it. We're going to go show it off to people. Let them, like I said, when we did the unveiling, put your fingers on it, touch it. It's a full truck here. We really want everybody to understand, like, this is a full build. It's not TV show or, it's not the halfway done stuff. This is a full ride right here.
Where are you guys going to be next week at Dino's? Do you know the booth?
AMD. We'll be in AMD's booth. We've teamed up with them on this truck, and they've really taken care of us. And Eddie called us and was like, hey, are y'all going to Dino's? And we're like, well, maybe. And he was like, bring it to my booth. He was like, you can have my booth if you want it. He was like, I want you guys there with us. So we've really enjoyed the relationship we've built with AMD. And, yeah, we'll be out there with them. So swing by the booth. Come check out the truck.
Have a great week, enjoying the fruits of your labor here. Get some rest, and we'll see you next week at the Get Down, because it's going to be another kick-ass time. 2 full days of craziness, and for the audience, hopefully you get a chance to swing by the AMD booth to check it out. Josh, for your time, graciously taking the time to walk us front to rear. We love the truck. Skid mark, you guys check it out. I posted it up. You can check out GMG. You can check it out. It's there. It's one rad-ass truck, dude.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it, and I hope everybody enjoys it.
Late.